Mirandasya Sri Gurave Namah. Agyanati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Jana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Bandeham Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupa Goswamipad Brajarasa Rasikam Cha Narayanam Tam Prapanam Shri Guru Charanam Bande Ramana Prastaya Bhutale Rupa Nuga Bhaktiram Shakri Pamurti Narayanam Namashrestam Manumapi Sachiputra Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasya Grajam Urupuri Maturim Gostavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Aho Radhika Madhavasyam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishavanusute Devi Pranamami Harite Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Itaradaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshe Kshiptascha Kamadi Tarangamade Kripa Maitam Sharanam Prapanam Brinde Numaste Charanara Jam Pravajantana Nupetrama Peta Kritam Dvaipayano Viraha Katara Juhava Putre Tritam Mayatayo Tarado Bidenu Vinedhustam Sarva Bhutam Hridayam Munimana Tosmi Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuveva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Primero que nada quiero ofrecer reverencias, millones de veces a los pies del loto de mi divino maestro espiritual Nitya Lila Pravistu Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariviraja Kacharya Ashta Tarasata Srimati Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Guru Maharaj, and I pray for his causeless mercy. Also, I would like to offer millions of times obeisances to the lotus feet of my divine Guru Parampara, my Rupa Nuga Guru Bharga, my succession, disciplic succession, and I pray for their causeless mercy. Also, I would like to offer my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas from the past, the present, and the future. To all the devotees, Danda Pranams. Today, I would like to speak to purify my heart and to remember the wonderful glories of Srimati Radhika. I would like to speak about the 25 qualities that Rupa Goswami explains in Radha Prakaran, chapter 4, verse 11 to 15, which is in Ujjvala Nilamani, describes the 25 qualities of Srimati Radhika. So now the first quality is that the qualities of Vrindavaneshwari. The first one is Madhura, that she is very attractive. Madhura, very attractive, very sweet. Sri Radhika, she is the embodiment of Madhurya Ras. She is the origin of Madhurya Ras. All the rasas take birth from Madhurya Ras. She is the original Ras. She gives birth to all the rasas. Madhurya Ras, Shinga Ras, Ujjvala Ras, they're all the same. They're all the embodiment of Srimati Radhika. Then the second quality is Nava Bhaya, that she has eternally the age of blooming youth. So we see that Srimati Radhika, she is eternally 13 years old, around. She's always in the Kishori age, not as Kumar 0 to 5 or Poganda 5 to 10, no, but she's always eternally, she is Kishori. And this is described in Radha Kripa Kataksha. It says, Madonmadati yovane pramodamana mandite priyanuraga ranjite kalavilasa pandite. She is Madonmadati yovane. She is intoxicated by her youth, by her eternal youth. It's very beautiful. She is eternally intoxicated by this beautiful youth of hers. Then the third quality is Chalapanga, that she casts very beautiful sidelong glances with her restless eyes. So this is a very beautiful quality which is described in many places. For example, she casts these sidelong glances. We see in Radha Kripa Kataksha that we're always praying for her sidelong glance, because sidelong glance means Manjari Bhav. Radhika looks straight forward to the Sakhis, but she only glances at the Manjaris. She gives them sidelong glances. So we pray for a sidelong glance because that means we're praying for Manjari Bhav, for the mood of a maidservant of Srimati Radhika. And here it says she glances with her restless eyes. In Radha Kripa Kataksha it has said, Tadit Suvarna Champaka Pradipta Goda Vigra Mukha Prabha Parasta Koti Sharadandaman Vichitra Chitra Sanchara Vichitra Chitra Sanchara, that her eyes are always restless, like the chakor birds. They're always moving. This is Radhika's eyes. It is also described in Radha Kripa Kataksha. There's one line that says, Asheshaha Baba Tira Hirahara Bushite Pravutesata Kumba 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 Prashasta Mandya Hasachura. No. Minala Vala Valarita Rangatana Latagra Lasya Lola Nila Lo Chanabal. Her eyes are moving. Blue eyes are always moving. They are moving. Her eyes, Radhika's eyes, blue eyes are moving like the vines moving in the wind. So this is one of the characteristics, quality of Srimati Radhika, that her eyes are always glancing, restless, moving, and throwing sidelong glances. And on the sidelong glance, it is very nice described how powerful these sidelong glances are. For example, there, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he describes one verse in Radha Rasa Sudanidhi, which is Benunkaram nipatitan skanitan shikandam brastan chapita brasanam brajaraja yasya kataksha saragatta vimuchitasya tam radhika paricharyami kadarasena. When will I be able to serve this Srimati Radhika? This Radhika that she yasya kadapi vasaran Yasa kadapi vasananchalakel Venum karani patitan salikanchi dastan chapita rasanandra yasya kataksha saragata. She throws sidelong glances which are like they are actually like arrows. Her sidelong glances are like arrows that actually make Krishna Benunkaram. His flute falls on the ground. Benunkaram nipatitam shalikam shikandam. His peacock feathers also fall to the ground. Brastanchapita. His yellow cloth falls to the ground, and bimurchitas. Finally he faints. So this is the glances of Srimati Radhika. Or also in the Radha Kripa Kataksha it says, Anangaranga Mangala Prasanga Bhangura Bhruvam Sabibraman Sasambraman Driganta Bana Patane. From the corner of her eyes, she glances like arrows, very, very seductive glances, and to Krishna, and makes him completely fall in submission to Srimati Radhika. So this is the power of Radhika's sidelong glance. Then the quality number 4 is Ujjvala Smita. Radhika has a very beautiful smile, which is very radiant, Ujjvala, and also very gentle. But actually the term Ujjvala is a word which is hidden and secret in the language of Gaudiya Vaishnavism that only those who are Madhurya Ras can actually understand. The general meaning means it's effulgent, but really Ujjvala means Madhurya Ras. It means Shringar Ras. It means Ujjvala Ras. It means the conjugal love of Sri Radha Krishna. This is really the meaning of the word Ujjvala. Whenever Ujjvala is mentioned, it is referring to the conjugal love of Sri Radha Krishna. So here it says Sri Radhika has an Ujjvala, Smita. So also in Radha Kripa Kataksha it is said in one very beautiful verse, Ashesha Baba Dila Hira Harabuchite Pravuta Shata Kumbha Kumbha Kumbi Kumbha Sistani Prashasta Mandya Hasya Churna Purna Sokya Sagare. That Prashasta Mandya, her smile is very beautiful, very gentle, and very famous. Prashasta Mandya Hasya Churna Purna. And it's like an ocean. Her smile is like, inside is like an ocean of pollen, of nectar pollen, inside her smile. And the bee like Krishna always wants to come and taste that pollen, because her smile hides, is covering this ocean of pollen which gives unlimited bliss and ecstasy. So this is Ashesha, the meaning of this Purna Sokya Sagare. It's an ocean of happiness and bliss and pollen, which is behind Radhika's smile, is an ocean of calm, transcendental calm. And this bee like Krishna always wants to come and taste that pollen. This is number 4, Ujjvala Smita. Then number 5 is Charu Sobhagya Rekhadya. That her feet and other parts of her body are always marked with the beautiful lines, auspicious lines. And we can see, for example, it is described in Radha Kataksha, Suvarna Malikanchita Tireka Kampu Kantage, that her beautiful neck is golden and it's like a conch shell that is marked with 3 lines. Suvarna Malikanchita Tireka Kampu Kantage, and also in her waist, which is very small. Her waist is very, very, very small, and there also she has some lines that are like entwined, very beautiful, on her waist. And also her lotus feet have all these marks. You know, she has, for example, the Shakti, the marks, the lines on her feet, right foot and left foot, the chariot, the conch shell, the mountain, the fish, there's a sacrifice altar, also earring, fish, and the bailey corn, which the bailey corn is like, it nourishes the whole world, but this represents that whoever takes shelter of her feet, she nourishes completely. She nourishes all the souls of the universe. She has beautiful signs like the disc or the flag or the lotus, and also an upward line. And this upward line is very beautiful on her feet. This line represents like if you catch hold of Radhika's feet, it's like a rope that if you take straight, shelter in this line, it'll take you up like a rope up to the transcendental realm. It also has the half moon, the bracelet, the flower, the disc, also the elephant goat, which is to, just like the elephant goat is to control the mind, control the elephant. So this goat represents that it can control the mind of the devotees so that we can fix completely on the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika. Also the chariot, all these lines are very beautiful. The flag, umbrella, all these beautiful signs are in Radhika's lotus feet. Then her feet have beautiful lines, and her feet, Radhika's feet, lotus feet. Then after the 6th verse is Gandon Madati Madhava. But before this, Radhika's lotus feet, Krishna serves Radhika. He likes to serve Srimati Radhika. When they are in Sevakunj, after Rasa Leela, and he goes away, then she is demanding him, you have to serve me, you have to, and he starts serving her. And her feet, he takes this red lac called alta and starts painting her feet, but his hand is shaking. His hand is shaking, so he can't paint it well. So she gets a little bit upset and gives him a little kick with her heel. With her heel, she gives him a little kick on his forehead. And this is the red mark of his tilak. That red tilak is the mark of Radhika's heel that kicked his forehead. Like, no, you can't do this. And then he becomes so happy. He's like, oh, now my head is blessed, my body is blessed. I have the mark of Radhika's heel on my forehead, which means I am Radhika's Dasi. I'm Radhika's maidservant. So this impression on his forehead is his pride, because it represents the mark of Srimati Radhika's lotus feet on his forehead. Like, I am Krishna, I am the Das, I'm Radhika's Das. So this is the beautiful feet of Srimati Radhika. Then also, sometimes Krishna, he always wants to be with Radhika. He wants to be with Radhika always, but he cannot. So when he's painting her feet, he thinks, how can I stay always on her feet? How can I always stay on her feet? So then he starts writing, okay, my name, Nam and Nami, Krishna and his name are not different. They're completely the same. So then, what am I going to do? I'm going to write my name on her feet. So he writes, Shyam, 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 with a beautiful, beautiful golden stick, and starts writing Shyam, Shyam, Shyam on Radhika's feet. That way he says, then I can always be, always at her feet. So then, the 6th quality of Srimati Radhika is Gandon Madati Madhava. That the fragrance of her body completely makes Krishna mad. So we can see that Radhika, Krishna says, I'm the one that gives this happiness and this sweetness and pleasure to the whole universe. I provide, I'm the origin, and I give all this to the whole universe. But now, Radhika drives me completely mad. Her prema, her scent, she is endowed with all these beautiful qualities. Like her scent is so extraordinary. Like Krishna can enchant the whole universe with his beauty, with his sweetness. But now, he becomes enchanted completely by Srimati Radhika's qualities. So he becomes overwhelmed. How is it possible? For example, one verse of Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, very beautiful verse, in Radha Rasa Sudanili, he describes Yasya kadapi vasanam chalakela nota Dhanya Tidanya Pavanena Kirtartamani Joginda Durga Magati Madhusudanopi Tasyo Namostru Vishapanu Bodhisapi. I offer obeisances to that direction where the daughter of Vishwanu Maharaj resides. This Srimati Radhika, which when she is walking in the forest and her skirt, her veil, and the breeze comes and touches just the corner, just the tip of her veil, and takes this scent, her fragrance, takes the wind, the breeze, takes her fragrance, only touching the tip of the veil. And then what happens? Just by this, Krishna, when he gets this scent, he says, oh, now my life has returned. Now my life is successful. So, Yasya kadapi vasanancha lakela nota dhanyati dhanya pavanena kritartamai joginda durgama gati. This is Krishna, which is the goal of all the yogis, all the great sadhus and munis. He's the goal of all of them, but they cannot attain him. But now, my goodness, now he can actually, only the scent of Srimati Radhika, he says, now my life is successful. Now I have regained my life. Just by the scent of Srimati Radhika's body, that her cloth touched the breeze and brings this breeze. Actually these bhavs are not different from Radhika. They're not different from Srimati Radhika. For example, we see that Radhika she is made of anubhavs. She is bhav alankar. She's decorated by bhavs, transcendental spiritual emotions. So they're not different than her. They're the same. For example, if Krishna is walking and the breeze touches his body and takes that scent and touches Radhika, then Radhika feels, oh, I am in union with Krishna. And Krishna feels the same. Although he's very far away, but he actually feels that he is in union with Srimati Radhika. He feels, I'm in union with Srimati Radhika when the breeze, when his scent is taken by the breeze and touches Radhika. And when the breeze touches Radhika and takes her scent and takes it to Krishna and touches Krishna, then Krishna feels, oh, I'm in union with Radhika. And Radhika also feels it. She feels, oh, I'm in union with Krishna when her scent touches Krishna. And when the breeze touches Krishna and the breeze touches Radhika, and that breeze takes the scent of Krishna and of Radhika, and in the air, hundreds of kilometers away, it touches and it meets the scent of Krishna and the scent of Radhika in the air, then Krishna feels union with Radhika and Radhika feels union with Krishna. This is how powerful the fragrance of Radhika and Krishna are. They are not different than them. Their bobs are considered extensions of their body. So this is very beautiful. Then also here, before we said, we talked about the feet of Srimati Radhika. So the feet, the dust of Radhika's lotus feet is so powerful. For example, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, there's one verse that says, Yo Brahma Ruda Sukanada Visvamuker Alakshitana Sahasa Purusasya Tasya Swadyo Vashikarna Churna Mananta Shaktim Tam Radhika Yo Brahmaruda Sukanada Ravisumukar Alaksitanasa Sapurusasya Tasya Swadyo Vasikarna Churnamananta Shaktim. Then Radhika Charadenu Anusmarame. I meditate on Radhika's Anusmarame Charanarenu, the lotus dust of Radhika's lotus feet. This dust is so powerful then that Brahma, Shiva, Nada, Brahma, Ruda, Sukadeva Goswami, Narad, Bhishma, all these, Brahma, Ruda, Sukha, Narad, Bhishma, Alakshitana Sahasa Purusasya Tasya. They are trying to get Krishna, but they cannot. They can't. But now, Yo Brahma, Ruda, Sukha, Narad, Bhishma, Alakshitana Sahasa Purusasya Yasyo. Then it says Ananta Shakti, that Radhika's Charana Renum, her lotus dust, has unlimited Shakti. It has so much Shakti, that it can completely control. It brings Krishna completely under control by the dust of Radhika's lotus feet. It's like, this is like an elephant goat that controls Krishna completely. Just the dust of Srimati Radhika. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. The dust of her lotus feet. Then it is said one of her qualities is Sangita Prasara Vigna. She's expert in the art of singing and music. So Radhika, she is expert in singing, and actually when the Sakis are singing at the time of Ras, one Lalita Saki sings one tune and then she sings it better, and then there's always like singing better and better. Krishna sings, they sing, they're competing in their singing. But Radhika, Krishna can play the flute to the fifth note. He can get sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. That's Krishna. But then from there, the gopis start singing from there. So Radhika's singing is so extraordinary, and her music, because she is the one that creates Ras. She's the origin of Ras. Like for example, Aneka mantra nada manjun nupura ravaskalat samajaraja hamsavam sanikravati gorave. That Radhika's Aneka mantra nada manjun, that her ankle bells, her golden ankle bells are actually, when they ring, they are creating millions of mantras. The origin of all mantras is coming from the ringing of the ankle bells of Srimati Radhika. And these ringing, this music is so enhancing for the Ras, for the Prem Ras, Shri Radha and Krishna. It enhances the Ras. This ringing of the bells of Radhika's ankle bells, and all the mantras come from there, and it's like thousands of swans, like the sound of the aristocratic swans in the water. Like this is the sound of Radhika's ankle bells. All the music, all the mantras, raga, raginis, everything is coming from those ankle bells. And also the sound, Krishna, the flute of Krishna, this flute learns music from Radhika's ankle bells, from her bells. And they are filled with asta-sattvic bhavs, like all the symptoms of prem. They're like eruptions of prema. These ankle bells, when Radhika is dancing and she is creating with her ankle bells so much ras, so much beautiful, romantic, erotic moods in the dance of the Ras Mandala by these ankle bells. And also she wears some her waist is very, very small. So the gopis are very worried that her waist is so small and her breasts are very big and her hips are very wide, that when she dances, they are very fearful that her waist is gonna break. So they put this mekhala, this beautiful belt, which is made of flowers and bells and also of jewels. Nitamba bimbalamba mana pushpa mekhala gune prashasta ratna kinkini kalapya madhya manjule. So this is very beautiful, and this belt, Srila Gurudev describes, is made out of prema. It's actually made of prem. It's not made of flowers and jewels and bells, but it's actually made of prema to the highest degree. So one time, Srimati Radhika, she is dancing with Krishna. They're in one kunja, but she's feeling that she cannot give 100% happiness and pleasure to Krishna, that something is missing, but she cannot understand what is it, what it is that is missing. Why can't Krishna be 100% experiencing this happiness? What is wrong? What is missing? So understands immediately in her heart that her mekhala, her belt, which Gurudev says it's made of prem, it's not just made of bells and flowers and jewels, but it is actually made of prema. So when she sees that it's missing, she becomes very upset. And with a glance, with a sidelong glance, like we're talking how Radhika is giving always sidelong glances. She doesn't talk to the manjari saying, oh, can you go and bring this? Oh, can you go and bring that? No. Just with a sidelong glance, she gives the mood. And immediately the manjaris understand what is to be done. So she gives a sidelong glance and she says to Rati Manjari, Raghunath Das Goswami, he says, please go fetch my mekhala, my belt. I forgot it. So in the previous kunja. So Rati Manjari goes. And when she gets to the kunja, she sees that her belt, full of flowers and bells and jewels, is there. So she tries to pick it up, and the mekhala, the flowers, are very sad. They say, no, don't take me. I don't want to go. But why? She left me. Radhika left me here. I'm not important to her. She just left me here. And the flowers are all faded, very sad, crying, no, we will not go. She has forgotten us. And then Rati Manjari tells the belt, no, don't you know? Srimati Radhika herself sent me, because she said, without you, she cannot give full pleasure and happiness to Krishna while dancing. She personally sent me to bring you. So then the flowers now bloom of happiness, and then Rati Manjari takes the flower belt and goes back to Radhika. In 1 second, without anybody noticing, of course, Rupa Manjari, she never takes her eyes off Radhika. So she immediately knew. She knew that what was happening. And Radhika was worried, oh, is everybody going to know? Are the Sakhis going to know? If they know, they will start making jokes and making fun of me. And she's so shy, she would not be able to handle this. So Rupa Manjari told her, don't worry, nobody knows. And in 1 second, Rati Manjari ties the belt on Radhika's very tiny waist, and she continues to dance. And now with the mekhala, with this belt, actually the sack is tied very tight on her waist because they're so afraid that it's going to break because it's so small. And they tie, and now when she dances with these bells on her waist, every single ding, 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 every single sound of Radhika's ankle bells or waist bells, all this tingling of the bells has a particular mood and bhav that increases and enhances ras. It makes the ras dance increase more and more and more. So this is very wonderful. And this is the beauty of Srimati Radhika, her qualities. So here it is said that she's expert in dancing and singing. So when she dances, and when she's, especially her dance, it is so amazing. It completely, her dance, she is Raseshwari. She is the embodiment of Ras. So whenever she dances, she has completely Krishna captivated, completely. All the ragas, raginis, everything is born from Srimati Radhika, singing from all her ankle bells, all the mantras, everything is originated from Srimati Radhika. Then it is said, she is Ramya Bak, that her talking is very enchanting. Her talk, her words, her speech is so sweet. So sweet that we can see, for example, Srimati Radhika, when Krishna speaks, when Radhika speaks to Krishna, it is Shita Kamala Kuchamanala Trita Kundala He Kalita Lalita Banamala Chaya Chaya Devare Shita Kamala Kuchamanala Drita Kundala He. That Krishna wears earrings. Krishna wears earrings, but actually the real meaning, the real decoration of Krishna's ears is that he's always listening to Radhika's very sweet voice, very sweet song, very sweet talking. And when Radhika speaks very sweet words to Krishna, what happens? He faints. And then, Sita Kamala Kuchamanala. And then, when he faints, then Radhika takes him upon her breast, which is Kucha Mandala, and catches him, and like a pillow, catches him on the pillow of her breast. So this is Shita Kamala Kucha Mandala. Why does he faint? When he hears the beautiful, soft, and such sweet words and voice of Srimati Radhika. So here it is, her voice is very, extremely sweet. Then it is said, her speech is very sweet. Number 9, Narma Pandita. She is very expert, very expert in the use of words and humor. So we can see that actually Radhika, she can always come up with words very quickly, and she's able to defeat, always in argument, Krishna. Like if there's a debate of words, she can always win any dialogue. She's very clever to find the words, and as a matter of fact, she can make double meanings. Always, the words always have double meanings when they speak. So this is Srimati Radhika. She's very expert in this. Then it is said, Narma Pandita, yeah. Then Binita, she's very modest, very modest. So we can see how she is modest. For example, we can see that her prema, Rupa Goswami has described her prema. It's so high. Vidurapi karanam sadavi vidim guru rupa godana charana vihina muhu rupa chito bakri mato shido jayati murotushi radhika nuragaha. Rupa Goswami is telling Vidurapi karanam sadavi vidim. Although Radhika's love is vidur, means her love is full. There's no room for expansion. It's so full. It's over everywhere. It is pervading. There's no room for expansion. But nevertheless, it is vidhur. It's always increasing and increasing. That's Radhika's prema. Vidurapi kalanam sadavirin gurur upa. although her love is so famous, so glorified to the universe, but anyhow, it is devoid of all pride. So you see how she's so modest. And although her love is shuddha, completely pure, it is beset with crookedness, bakri. So Jayati Murodvishi, Radhika Anuraga. All glories to the love, Anurag of Srimati Radhika, to that Krishna, which is the killer of the demon Mura. This is Rupa Goswami describing the love of Srimati Radhika. Very beautiful. Then it is said, so how modest she is. And what to speak of modest? Imagine, Srila Gurudev explained one time, Rupa Sanatana Gaudiya Math, how Radhika, when Uddhav comes and sees Srimati Radhika, and when he sees that level of prema so high that she is dying from separation, she is literally burning of the fire of separation, and she's praying, I want to leave my body, and Uddhava is impressed to see how much bhakti she has, how much love she has for Krishna. He is astonished. But anyway, she tells Uddhava, please, I beg of you, don't tell. Her bhakti is so high, it has the highest level, degree of prema, Madanakya Mahabhav. But she says, please don't tell Krishna, I beg you. Don't tell him, please don't tell him. And he says, but Uddhav says, how can I not tell Krishna? I have to tell him. No, please, because he doesn't have anybody to console him. He will die at once if he knows my condition. I beg of you, don't tell him. But Uddhav says, I have to. So Radhika says, if you must, then please just a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, and a little bit the day after, so that he can digest it. Otherwise, he would die at once. See, I have my Sakhis, I have my dear friends, and they can all console me and pacify me. But he has no one that can understand the level of prem. He cannot understand this. So, Srila Gurudev gives this example of how the highest degree of prema, the highest degree of prema is so high, but anyhow, she is always hiding. A person that really has bhakti and that really has prema will always try to hide it. Radhika is hiding. Please don't tell, begging. But Gurudev says, but nowadays, everybody's showing off every activity that they do. That is maybe not even bhakti, maybe only external activities. But anyhow, they're showing. I distributed 10 books, a picture. I distributed 100 books. I chanted 1 lakh. I chanted 1 lakh. I chanted 2 lakhs. I chanted 2 lakhs. I did this. I did all this. Pictures. Now, at that time, Gurudev, there wasn't internet. But now, imagine. People I see living in the Dham for 1 year, 2 years, and every single day, every single activity they have done, they show it in Facebook. I did this, I did that, I gave this donation, I gave this prasadam, I gave this books, I made these rotis, I made this, I did. So what is this? Bhakti is completely finished. Because every time you show your bhakti or your efforts to others, all the sukriti that you accumulate is extinguished, is gone. Therefore, Gurudev says bhakti is very secret. You should keep it secret. Like camphor, if you give this camphor for everybody to smell, then open the lid and you give this camphor for everybody to smell, what happens? When it comes back to you, the scent is gone. So this is bhakti. Bhakti is very secret. If Gurudev gives us anything in our hearts, then we should keep it very, very secret. We shouldn't be like broadcasting. We shouldn't be broadcasting all our activities of bhakti that we do. We cannot. Otherwise, all the sukriti is completely gone. It's finished forever. So this is why bhakti should be very hidden. Also, Parama Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Sri Goswami Maharaj, he used to speak, very beautiful. He used to say that bhakti should be hidden. It's like a kerosene lamp with fire. It has a little flame. And the more bhakti comes into our heart, it starts growing and growing and growing. It becomes very powerful. But if we are sharing with others this, that, we're showing, then wind will come in and will blow it all out. So this is why bhakti has to be very secret. Also, this, like, if any bhav, any spurti, anything that Srila Gurudev gives us, it's like a secret. It's like God giving us a secret. But if we're telling the secret to this person and that person and this, then it will be gone, and God, Krishna will not give us any more of it, these secrets. So this is why it's so important that bhakti should be completely hidden. This is why I'm giving the example that Srila Gurudev explained how Srimati Radhika, she has Madanatya Mahabhav, the highest level of prema. But anyhow, she is always hiding. She's begging Uddhav, please don't tell Krishna, please don't tell Krishna. She's dying of separation, literally dying. She's saying, please, may the water of my body be mixed with the water of Pavan Sarovar, so when Krishna takes bath, then he can touch me. May the fire of my body be mixed with the fire of the rays of the sun in Nandagaon, so that when Krishna comes and they fan him, then I can touch him. Please, may the air of my body be mixed with the air of Nandagaon, so that Krishna can breathe it. May the earth of my body be mixed with the earth of Nandagaon, so that when Krishna walks, I can have contact with him. Just imagine the level of prema, of bhakti. But what does Radhika say? She hides it. Please don't tell. Please don't tell. She begs Uddhav, don't tell, don't tell. And Srila Gurudev is telling, but nowadays, everybody's showing, I did this, I did that, I did this, I chanted 1 lakh, I distributed 10 books, what is this? I've seen people every day in Vrindavan showing every single day, every single activity they do. So I'm thinking, all this sukriti is gone. Any activity we do should be hidden, should be completely hidden. It should be only for the pleasure of Shri Radha and Krishna. This is why even for example, Raganuga Bhakti and Bhaiti Bhakti, in the path of Raga Marg, internally, it's with your soul. There's no using of this body, no physical body, no mind. When the mind becomes purified, it becomes chitta, means spiritualized. Then it's with your soul. When you do activities with your soul, with the Siddha Deha, then this is bhajan. Anything we do with this body, this is Bhaiti Bhakti. Anything we do with this, because it's always related with this body and with the mind. But when we do it with our soul, then this is bhajan. When we serve Shri Radha Krishna with our soul, then we can dress Srimati Radhika, we can comb her, we can decorate, but no one will know ever. But when we do all these activities externally with deities, and then we show how beautiful, there's a little ego. I dressed them so beautiful, I'm so expert. I put this beautiful dress, I sewed it myself, look everyone. So one time I was in Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. I was standing in front of Sri Radha Vinod Bihari Ji. And what happened? That Bhaktivedanta Parama Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Sri Rupa Goswami Maharaj came and stood next to me. And he said, why are you enjoying Krishna? I was shocked. I said, enjoying Krishna? Me? He said, yes. Why are you enjoying Krishna? You know, when a Mahabhagavat speaks, there's so much power that immediately in your heart you could understand why he was saying that. And I was enjoying Krishna. When we see the deities, we think, how beautiful their dress, how beautiful is this and that, and the background, and the earrings, and how beautiful, how beautiful. We're like enjoying the beauty of Krishna and Radhika. Therefore he said, don't enjoy Krishna, you should serve Krishna. So in that moment I was able to understand I was able to understand that when you see Thakurji, then you should serve Thakurji with your mind. You should meditate in Radhika's hair and comb her hair very beautifully. You should make braids with her hair. You should put flowers on her hair. You should put kajal. In 1 second, the mind is so fast. It can do all these services within a minute. And massage Radhika's feet, Krishna's feet, Mahaprabhu's feet. Whenever you see Thakurji, you should serve them by mind. So, we are in the point that Radhika is very modest. Very modest. So, Binita. So, here it is explained how she has so much bhakti, so much prema. She is like the crest jewel of Madhanakya Mahabhav, but anyhow, she's hiding. No, please don't tell Krishna, don't tell anybody. But here, we want to show, I did this, I did that, I did this. Everything, every time we do something, we give a donation, or we do any activity related to bhakti, if we show it to others, the result of that is gone. The sukriti is gone. So this is why our acharyas say, keep it hidden. No need to show. So then after it is said the qualities of Srimati Radhika. One is, number 11, Karuna Purna. She is full of compassion. She is the embodiment of compassion. So we can see in the Radha Kripa Kataksha, in Srinandanandastakam, very beautiful. This kirtan, it is emanating from her heart. For example, here before, one of her qualities is that she is expert in singing and in music. So I describe how all the music, everything, all the mantras, everything emanates from Radhika's ankle bells. So, but how beautiful, because here it is said that she is complete, the embodiment of all compassion. And we see that Sri Nandanandastakam, for example, this song is coming from her heart. It is said, unknown author. But actually, it's not an unknown author. It is directly Srimati Radhika's heart. Whoever in their bhajan realized that song and manifested in this world would not attribute the credits of it and put his name, because he knows that that song came directly from Radhika's heart. So in this song that she sings, that is coming from her heart, her kirtan is so powerful that it becomes rupa. Like, this is the way that one should do kirtan, that with so much mamata, with so much attachment to Krishna, to Radhika, that the kirtan becomes rupa, form, the form. When Radhika sings directly, it becomes rupa. Krishna manifests there. He appears there. So in this way, we should try to do kirtan in that way, that Krishna appears in our heart, that Radhika appears in our heart, that Srila Gurudev appears in our heart, that Mahaprabhu appears in our heart. This is real kirtan. So Radhika, this Radha Sri Nandanandastakam, which is the song of Radhika's heart, when she is singing, this is the 11th quality, that she is full of karuna, compassion. So how beautiful. Imagine that in this song, she is singing Brajanjana Sunayakam Sada Sukha Pradayakam Jaganmana Pralobanam Namami Nandanandanam. She's saying Brajangana Sunayakam. She's meeting Nayaka, his Nayak, his Krishna, her hero, her lover. Now she meets him, because the power of her kirtan makes Krishna appear there in front of her. And now she is embracing him. And she is kissing and feeling so much sukha, happiness. She is overwhelmed with pleasure and happiness. She's so lost in the ocean of prem, of love. But nevertheless, Prajangana Sudeka Sada Sukha Pradeka Jaganmana Pralobhana. Because she is the embodiment of compassion for Krishna, for everyone. That although she's embracing Krishna and feeling the highest summit of ecstasy, spiritual prem, love, premananda, anyhow, she is thinking about the jivas of this world. And she is thinking, how can they experience the happiness that I am experiencing now? How can I make the jivas of this world experience the prem of Krishna, this prem ananda? How can I make them also taste this? Imagine, she's hugging Krishna, she's embracing him, she's kissing Krishna. And there's no limit to the ecstasy that she's experiencing, but nevertheless, she's thinking about the jivas of this world, because therefore she is the embodiment of compassion. She's thinking, how can the jivas experience this happiness that I am experiencing? And therefore, she says, at the end of Shinandanandastakam, she gives a blessing. Shinandanandanastakam Patedrashadayam vidhatared babatim dushtaram labeta dangrijukmakan. She says, anybody who recites this Shinandanandastakam with faith, what will happen? That this person will come at the feet of Krishna, be able to serve Krishna's lotus feet. Shinandanandastakam patedrashadayam vidhatared babatim yukmakam. Angry, the feet, they will be able to come to the feet of Krishna. So just imagine how merciful, how full of compassion is Srimati Radhika. This is one of her qualities. She is complete compassion. Then, Karuna Purna. Number 12 is Vidarta. She's expert in the 64 arts and in all types of activities, amorous activities or bilas. So, in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Mangala Charan, the auspicious invocation, it is said, Janmadhyasya itaratas chartasya avigya swarat. It says, Janmadhyasya itaratas chartasya avigya. So Avigya means that Radhika, she is the embodiment of all knowledge. She is the embodiment of all knowledge because she is the embodiment of the 64 arts to serve Krishna. So what is the use of all the knowledge that we can have if we don't know how to serve Krishna? Therefore, the highest type of knowledge is bhakti. Bhakti is, from all knowledge, bhakti is superior to all, because through bhakti, Krishna reveals himself. He gives us darshan of his transcendental adokshaye form. So Radhika, she is Abhigya. She is the embodiment of all the 64 arts to give pleasure to Krishna, all of them. And in this world, the knowledge comes to the jiva. First, Samvit Shakti, like the potency of Chit, the Krishna, his potency is the potency of knowledge, knowledge. So he comes to the jiva first. He reveals to the jiva, I am Krishna, I am God. He reveals all tattvas, Krishna tattva, Shakti tattva, Maya tattva, Rasa tattva, Sadhana tattva, Jiva tattva, Achinta Veda Veda tattva, Sadhana tattva, Bhakti tattva, Sadhya tattva, like Radharani tattva, all the tattvas, Nityananda tattva, all tattvas. This is the way Krishna manifests to the jiva. He gives all knowledge. But all this knowledge first becomes in the phase of theory. Then it becomes realization, some realization of these tattvas. But the best from all these knowledges, the most important is Sambandha Gyan. From all Gyan, all knowledge, Sambandha Gyan is the knowledge of my relationship with Krishna. This is the most important of all the knowledges, because without Sambandha Gyan, how can we have relationship with Krishna? Siddha Deha. This Siddha Deha is manifest only by the mercy of a Raganuga Guru. By the mercy of a Raganuga Guru, then he will manifest in our heart Siddha Deha. And then by this Siddha Deha, then we can serve Shri Radha Krishna. Otherwise, it's not possible. So all knowledge is important. Krishna manifested all Tattva, and then all Siddhanta, all the philosophical conclusions, then he manifests. But the most important of all is Sambandha, our relationship with Krishna, because this is eternal. Then when we are able to leave this transcendental, this material world, and enter into the transcendental realm, Aprakrit Dham, when we go to that realm, what happens is that all the knowledge that we acquired, we leave it in this world. That knowledge cannot go with us to Golok Vrindavan. It cannot go. The only knowledge that will go is Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of my relationship with Krishna. All the relationship that I've developed in my heart, all the service that I've done in my heart to Shri Radha Krishna, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all this seva in the heart, this is Sambandha Gyan. And this is the only thing that goes with me to Golok Vrindavan. Because in Golok Vrindavan, there's no Tat and Siddhanta, no, there is only Bhav, Prem. So this is, and Sambandha Gyan, and relationship with Krishna. So in this way, Radhika, she is actually, one of her qualities is, she is Bidakta. She's expert in the 64 arts and all types of amorous bilas, amorous. She's expert. So in the Radha Kripa Kataksha, it is said, for example, Madon Madati Yovane Priyanuraga Ranjite Kalapilasa Pandite Ananya Danya Kunja Raja Kama Keli Kobide Kadakari Sasiyaman Kripa Kadaksha Bhajanam Madon Madati Yovane Pramoda Mana Mandite Priyanuraga Ranjite Kala Bilasa Pandite. She is the Pandit of Kala Bilas, of all the pastimes, of the arts. She's expert playing all the arts, singing, dancing, the art of riddles, of defeating Krishna with words, of splashing in the water, etc., etc., 64 arts. She is embodiment of those arts. So, because this is the only way you can please God, Krishna. It's through the arts of 64 arts of giving pleasure to Krishna. So she is in Vilas, she is a Pandit. And then Ananya Kunja, in the very deep forest of the Kunja, she is Kala Vilasa Pandite. Ananya Danya Kunja Raja Kama Keli Kobide. She is in the Keli Kama, means in the pastimes of divine desire, intimate, erotic love. She is the most expert, like sage of all these arts of love for Krishna. So this is Radhika. No one can be like her. No one. Then so much is coming, but then after it says, number 13 of the 13th quality, it is said, Patavanvita. She's very expert. She is diestra. She's so expert in everything she does. Dancing is perfect, singing is perfect, dressing is perfect, everything is perfect. We can see, for example, when I was living in Braj for many years, almost 15. So there, so many times I was doing puris, and the Brajavasis come, hey, get out, go. Because if you don't do it perfectly round, you're like, get out. If you're doing a garland and it's, hey, get out. They kick you out. Whatever you do, if it's not perfect 100%, get out. So we can see like in Radha Raman, the beautiful garlands made with the sprouts of the jasmine. They make crowns made with sprouts of jasmine, crowns and dresses and everything. So beautiful, so expert, the crowns. And Radhika every day wearing these beautiful crowns with flowers. So if we have to learn to be like this. If we want to be a gopi one day, we have to learn to do all these things within our hearts. So Radhika, she is expert in all these arts. Everything she does is perfect. Then Lajashita. Lajashita means she's very, very shy. She is very shy. For example, Lalita, all the Sakis have different, the Naikas, the heroines, they all have different moods. Some are very bold, like Lalita, she's very bold, like Radha mapi vrajakute kitun atmajana kutang manok apivilakya bilohitakshin bhagvangi vishamachinena vilaja jantin devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami. She is Radha mapi vrajakute. She is like, when she sees that Krishna is speaking some words that are not appropriate to Srimati Radhika, she becomes, her eyes become, Alokshim becomes red, so angry, and she starts throwing words and words, attacking Srimati Krishna. And he starts shaking, he's so afraid of Lalita Devi. So this is the mood of some Sakis, but Radhika no. Radhika is very, very, very shy, she's very soft. So, okay, if they kick you out, if you make a mistake, how can you become perfected in your service? Very good question. When I was in Braja, for example, there was one girl. There are different types of people. You know, some people cannot take chastisement. They cannot tolerate anything. And especially in Braja, the mood is very strong. It's not like Westerns, like, you know, like now the Westerns are like self-esteem, and you cannot say this or that, or oh, this is offensive, my heart to the. But Brajavasi's mood is not like that at all. It's like this. And we see, for example, one time I was in a bus in Parikrama about year 2000, and I was doing kirtan, there was one girl playing the kartals so bad, and I said, stop it, you're playing terrible, the kartals, stop it. And then many, many years after, in the temple we're doing kirtan, and there's this girl, and she's doing kirtan, and I said, wow, you play the kartals so wonderful. You are expert. What a beautiful way you play the kartals. And what did she say? She said, it is thanks to you, she said. Because you, I didn't even remember of that. But she said, you chastised me so bad that time. And I said, well, I better learn. I must learn kartals, because if I'm playing so bad. And then she learned. So some people will take it to their advantage and will say, I have to learn. And other people, if you chastise them or like you correct them, you know, they will become very, oh no, that's disrespectful, this is bad. So that's their misfortune, you know. But for example, by chastising us like this, we learn, because we learn, I have to do it better. I have to learn. And of course I went back. I would always go back and then try to learn how to do things perfectly. Of course, but nevertheless, this is seva, it's good, but we should try to do all things internal in our heart more than externally. For example, when I used to live in Keshwadi Guriyama, this is like year 1996 when I went there, Mathura. What happened that when I got there, I saw that the deities were not like, they wouldn't like dress them with these expensive dresses, like $1,000 dresses, and change them every day. No, maybe every 5 days they would change the dress. And the garlands were bought from the market and just put the garlands. Nobody was doing like all this like show of the deities. And any other person that would come would think, oh, they don't take good care of the deities or this and that. Because in other temples we can see that they're so opulent. The dresses and all this scenery. But what I saw was that all the brahmacharis were in their rooms doing bhajan. With their seated there, they were absorbed doing bhajan, chanting 1 lakh or 2 lakhs or even 3 every day. Doing internal bhajan. All were doing bhajan in the rooms by the bhav supply of our Srila Gurudev, Parama Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Guru Maharaj. He was giving bhakti to all these people and they were doing bhajan. So, in this way, we have to learn to be expert in these things, but Gurudev wants us more and more to try to do seva in our hearts. More and more become expert in our hearts. And cooking is one of the most important sevas that we can internally do in our hearts every day. Cooking. We can do so many preparations. Within minutes, within 1 hour, you can thousands of preparations. This is all sadhana raganuga bhajan. But that's another class, another day. So now, it says that she's expert in all the arts. And then she's very expert, she's very expert in everything she does. Everything. Radhika. I think we have to take birth in Braj as a Brajvasi from birth. Then we can learn all these beautiful arts that they're so expert. Since they're children, since they're children, they learn all these things. It's part of the being born in Braj. So I hope next life I can take birth. I can be those kids that are roaming around the streets in Braja. Then I can become perfected more and more. And I hope to have the association since birth of a Uttam Mahabhagavat. Then that can nourish my heart with the Braj mood and bhavs. This is the only thing we should actually always aspire. The Mahabhagavat, to serve him, that he can nourish my heart so I can do bhakti, so I can do bhajan. So here it says that number 15 quality, Sumar Jada. She's never deviated from the path of righteousness. So we see Srimati Radhika. This is very beautiful. There's one thing in the Radha Kripa Kataksha also, it says, Makheshwari, Kriyeshwari, Swareswari, Sureswari, Triveda, Bharatishwari, Pramoda, Pramada, Pramana, Saseshwari, Saseshwari. So that she is goddess of sacrifices, of action, of oblations to the gods. She is of the 3 Vedas, of words and of moral principles. So Radhika is the most moral and the most chaste woman of Braj. So I'm going to say something that actually I never really like to, I only heard Srila Gurudev say it once. And when somebody tried to say this, speak this in Javat, I remember Srila Gurudev stopped that person from speaking it. But I'm going to say it now, which is very interesting because now my whole conception changed. This was maybe 2001, I remember. Then my whole conception changed about Srimati Radhika, how she's married to Abhimanyu, but how did this come to be? So Srila Gurudev explained that everybody wanted Radha and Krishna to get married. Everybody wanted Radha and Krishna to get married. So all the Brajavasis, for example, the Dhamvasis, Yogamaya, Purnamasi, everybody was wanting Radha Krishna to marry. Like Jashodama, Nanda Baba, Brishavanu Maharaj, Kitya Sundari, everybody wanted them to get married. So they called Yogamaya and she did the chart. And she saw that in one house, there's a little dot. So she said, everything seems very auspicious, but there's one little spot here in the chart. And if you get married, one of the two will die. So this is very inauspicious. Immediately, everybody was completely surrendered to her dictation. Whatever she says, whatever Yogamaya Purnamasi says, that is the last word. Nobody discusses it. Nobody argues it. They absolutely accept it. So Krishna's mother, Jashodama, she was very sad because she loves so much Radharani that she wants her to stay in the family. So she called her Krishna's brother, cousin, means his uncle. She asked Abhimanyu, which is family of Jashodama, he said, please, you marry Srimati Radhika. So when Radhika heard this, she was so upset. She was so disturbed. And she was crying and crying and crying. And she said, I don't want to marry anybody but Krishna. No one. So Krishna came and tried to console her and said, don't worry, because I promise you that nobody will ever put a finger on you. I promise you. This is my promise. At the time of wedding, this is my desire, because in order to manifest my pastime, said Krishna, then it is important, the Parakya Bhav, that this is exactly what came Mahaprabhu to give. Jayo Jayo Jvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sara Parakya Bhava Jay Brajate Prachara. In Braj, Prachara is promoted, the Parakya Bhav, which is the extramarital love. And Rupa Goswami describes that unless there are so many obstacles in the meeting of Radha and Krishna, the highest subit of prema, Mahabhav, cannot manifest. So for this reason, this is the reason why Radhika, Krishna tells Radhika, I want that you should please marry Abhimanyu. So she was very sad, but Krishna said, I promise you that he will never put a finger on you. And at the time of the wedding, because he is my cousin, uncle, when he is with you, I will sit at his lap. And when they ask, do you accept him like your husband? I myself, said Krishna, I will say, yes, I accept. I accept her like my wife. So don't worry. So then Radhika was pacified, and at that time, he married. It was the wedding time. Krishna sat at the lap of Abhimanyu, and then they asked, would you accept her as your wife? And Krishna said, yes, I do. So then after that, Srila Gurudev spoke. Only one time in my life I heard him speak this. He said that after that, Abhimanyu didn't know what happened to him, that his manhood was gone, and that he could not understand what happened, what had happened. And he never told anybody because he was so embarrassed. He maybe have told one friend only, very intimate, but he was so embarrassed that he was never in the house. He was always out making business, buying cows, buying this, buying that, because he was very embarrassed to come and see Srimati Radhika. So this is what Srila Gurudev explained. So after I heard this, I said, oh, now I understand. So it is absolutely true that Radhika, she never gets deviated from the path of righteousness. She is the most chaste woman of Braja. This is Srimati Radhika. So then the 11th, the 16th quality is called Dairya Shalini. She is indulgent and tolerant when there is affliction. She is very tolerant and she's very indulgent. This is what it says. Number 17 Gambhirya Shalini. She's very serious, very grave. Also, Srimati Radhika, yes, she's very serious, especially when she has man, when she's this anger, jealous anger. She's very serious. Nobody can break her man. Then actually, Gambhir means very grave. Her mood is very grave. So, in this aspect, I can refer to the verse of Radha Kripa Kataksha Ashesha Haba Bhava Dira Hira Hara Bhushite, which says that Srimati Radhika is decorated with the necklace of diamonds. So Gurudev said anybody who is actually thinking that is a necklace of diamonds has never done bhajan in his life. The real meaning is that she is decorated. She has this necklace is a necklace of bhavs, like Ashesha, Haba, Bhava, Dira, Kanti. So many bhavs are there. She's decorated by all these bhavs. And so she's very grave. So one of these bhavs, for example, or prema, one level is man, which she's an angry man. Nobody can break her man. Nobody can break her anger. Nobody. Krishna tries and he's crying for days and days, but nobody can break her man. So she is compared with this necklace of diamonds. Why? Because the quality of diamond is the diamond is very hard. Nobody can break a diamond. Nobody can break. Her bhavs, her moods, transcendental emotions are like these, are like this. They're so deep and so hard that nobody can break them. Nobody can break them. And then it is said also the quality of a diamond is that if there's, for example, a reflection of a blue color, it will make a whole reflection of so many, like gamma, of so many blues, like a rainbow of blues. So this is Srimati Radhika. When Krishna has any particular bhav, any mood, any feeling, any desire, then she will reciprocate with him with a rainbow of moods and bhavs to reflect, to please and to satisfy that particular bhav, to serve that bhav. So, but she's very grave, Radhika. Then it is said that Gambhira Shalini, she's very serious. Subilasa, number 18, another quality. Rupa Goswami is saying, her body is always decorated with ornaments, with body ornaments, like Hava, Bhava, and Hela, like I mentioned just before. That she is decorated by these bhavs, these moods. So her body is Subilasa. Her body is always decorated with ornaments bodily, or these are called actually bhav alankars, which are ornaments of bhavs, different bhavs like Hava, Bhava, Dira, Hira. There's also Kanti. So these are all different feminine gestures that can seduce the lover, the nayak, the hero. And also with her smile, with her hair standing on end, and with the voice, which is, her voice, which is getting, cannot speak. From these are the motions of Asta Sattvic bhavs, the symptoms of prem, and related to Krishna. So this is very interesting because she's decorated by all these symptoms of prem. Very, very, wow, very, very, very high. And then the number 17, number 19 is Mahabhava Paramokh Karsha Darshini. She desires intensively to exhibit the manifestation, supreme manifestation of Mahabhava. Okay. So Mahabhava, this is the highest summit of divine love. There are different levels of love. prema, sneha, man, praneya, rag, anurag, bhav, then madan, madanatya mahabhav is the highest degree of prem. The reason for parakya bhav, for extramarital love, that Krishna wants Radhika to get married and all the gopis to get married, is because all the obstacles that exist for them to meet, all these obstacles is what makes, like, the separation. Like, Radhika's going to meet Krishna, but then she can't. So that anxiety that I cannot meet Krishna, that makes her actually increase so much to levels of prem to manifest to Madanatya Mahabhav. So I'm going to give two examples of Mahabhav. For example, one is one place where Srila Gurudev used to always take us. He used to take us in Prem Sarovar, which is a lake between Radhakunda, Barsana and Nandagaon. In the middle is a lake called Prem Sarovar. One time Radhika was sitting there with Krishna. She was sitting on Krishna's lap, and they're like enjoying and talking, this and that. But then one bumblebee comes and starts roaming Radhika's lotus feet, because it's so fragrant that the bee thinks, oh, this is a lotus flower, Radhika's feet, with her toes. So the bee is trying to get the nectar of her feet, and she gets a little bit disturbed. So Krishna glances at her friend Madhumangal, at his friend Madhumangal, and tells him, just take the bee away. So Madhumangal goes and with a stick pushes that bee away. Then when he comes back, he said, I have pushed that Madhusudan very far away. Madhusudan, I chased him out and he will never come back. He's not coming back. So when Radhika heard that, she's sitting on Krishna's lap. She's actually sitting on Krishna's lap, but she thinks, he's not going to come back. He's never going to come back. And she starts crying, Krishna is not coming back. He's not coming back. And she's sitting on Krishna's lap, but she fails to see Krishna. And Krishna's like, I'm here, but she cannot see him. And she starts crying and crying and crying, so much separation in the presence of her lover. And she cries and cries, and then Krishna starts crying, all the gopis start crying, and then ultimately she faints. So all the tears that are in this lake, all the water of this lake are Radhika's tears. This Prem Sarovar is made from Radhika's tears. She is experiencing Mahabhav. This is one symptom of Mahabhav. Although in the Rupa Goswami describes the levels, Prem, Sneha, Man, Praneya, Rag. In the level of Rag, there's one level, there's different, but one is that you feel separation in the presence of your lover. So this is the level of Rag. But Srila Gurudev explained that it's not Rag, it's Mahabhav. Because in the level of Mahabhav, the different stages of Prema manifest simultaneously. So we can see that Radhika is experiencing Rag, but in the level of Mahabhav, which is very, very high. So this is one of her qualities, that she's always eager to exhibit this Mahabhav. Then there's one other beautiful pastime of Mahabhav, which is she is in what's this place? It's called, it's where Uddhav comes and he comes to give the message to the gopis, and Radhika is almost dying, and suddenly a bumblebee comes and starts talking to her. She starts talking to the bumblebee. Madhupakita babandhu nasprihanin sapatnya kuchavilulita mala kunkuma shastubirna bahatu vadupatisma manininam prasadam yadu sadasividam yasdatastuttam tamitrik. He says, don't touch my feet. Oh, you, don't touch my feet, you bumblebee. You are coming here with your mustache full of red powder kumkum from my rival when Krishna is in Mathura and he embraces one of her lovers, which is my rival, and when he embraces her from her breasts, which are decorated with red kumkum, this red kumkum smashes the garland of Krishna and it stays on his garland. And now this garland is, all this red kumkum is staying on the flower and the pollen. Now the bee, you're coming to take the pollen of the flower, and you're taking this pollen of the flower and you're getting full of red kumkum in your mustache. And now you're coming here to touch my feet? Get away! Don't touch me, bee. Don't get away. Anybody who sends a messenger like you is ridiculed in the assembly of the Yadus. So this is also one symptom of Mahabhav. Very, very high Mahabhav. Very high. So, one second please. Radhe Radhe. Sorry. Okay, so number 20 is Gokula Prema Basati. She's the object of love to all the residents of Gokul. So we see how everybody loves Srimati Radhika, like even Jashoda Ma loves her even more than Krishna. Jashoda Ma, she is loved so much by everyone. This is number 20, Gokula Prema Basati. She's the object of love of all the residents of Gokul. In the Sri Damodarastakam also says, Iti Dishwadi Lavir Ananda Kunden Swarushani Majantan Akapajantan Tadige Shitage Shubhakter Chitatam Puna Prematastam Satakritivan. It says, Iti Dishwadi Lavir Ananda Kunde. The Krishna, he makes everybody dive deep in the ocean of Ananda. Iti Dishwadi Lavir Ananda Kunde, in a kunda of Ananda. This is Krishna, but this is also Radhika, of course. Because Krishna is, his body is made of Sat Chit Ananda. But Radhika's body is made of Mahabhav. This is the highest superlative grade, the highest level of prema. This is Radhika. So Krishna is always trying to taste this love, but he cannot, because Krishna is the object of love. But Radhika is the recipient of love. Her whole body is, every atom of her body, like rasgula, it's everything is ras. So Radhika's body, her whole body is prem, is ras, prem ras, Mahabhava Swarupini, Radhika Takurani. She is Mahabhava Swarupini. She is the Swarup of Mahabhav. So anyhow, she is loved by all the residents of Gokul. Everybody loves her so much. And 21, except maybe Chandravali. So then, her rivals. 21 is Jagat Shreni Lasat Jasha. That her fame is expanded by all the corners of the universe. And this is a very important point, because her fame is expanded in all the corners of the universe. Means that, for example, at the time of Rasa Leela, when Radhika is seeing that all the gopis are there, enjoying so much, they are so proud of the good fortune, they are so bhagamad, they are intoxicated in the good fortune. So Radhika thinks this is not pure bhakti, because they're so proud, because they think Krishna's only with me, so they become a little bit intoxicated in the good fortune. So Radhika thinks this is not pure bhakti. She becomes a little bit jealous, so she leaves Ras. So Shatakoti Gopi Madhavaman millions of the most beautiful and qualified gopis, but they cannot control Krishna. They cannot. Without Radhika, it's useless. So Radhika leaves, then Krishna says, I'm leaving too. So he starts running after her. This is the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadhyasya Itaratas Chartasyu, which is Itaratas and Chartasyu. Srila Parama Pujapad Bhakti Vigambarati Goswami Maharaj has described that it means when Radhika leaves, this is indirectly, when she's directly in the rasa, and then indirectly when she leaves. And Chartasyu means Krishna is running behind her. So then Krishna is running behind her, and finally he meets her. He's crying, Kotava Prema Mai Radhe Radhe, crying, oh Radhe Radhe, where are you, crying, Radha Kunda here, there, everywhere, where is Radhika, crying. Then one Manjari tells Radhika, she's suffering very much, he's suffering very much, give him your mercy, poor Krishna. So she says, okay. So then Krishna comes, and then he gives his peacock feather on her feet. His flute, he puts it at her feet. But still she's in man, she's a little bit angry. So then, with his own tears, he washes Radhika's lotus feet. So then Radhika says, okay, I forgive you. Okay. So at that time, what does Krishna say? He tells her, and he tells all the gopis also afterwards. But at this time he tells Radhika, Na parehyam niravadhyasam juda swasadu kripa vibhuja jusapi jamavajandu tyala sinkala sambrisa tatva pratyatu sadhana. She says, I cannot repay you, Srimati Radhika. This is the most important verse of Bhagavatam. Because Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he promises, no matter how my devotee serves me, I promise I will reciprocate with him accordingly. But now he has broken the promise. Now he has said, I cannot repay you. I cannot repay you. Even if I have a life as long as the millions of years of demigods, I cannot repay you. Why? Because you have broken the chains, the shackles of family life. Samrisa tattva pratyatu. You have broken this. Therefore, may your own glories, may your glories be the way I can compensate with you. So here, the 21st quality is Jagat Sheni Lasat Jasha. Her fame is expanded. It's propagated in all the corners of the universe. Why? Because Krishna said, the only way I can repay you is that your glories, may your glories be broadcast eternally through all the corners of the universe. And this is why Bhagavatam was created. Because in the Bhagavatam, it explains all the different bhaktas, culminating in the highest of all, which is Radhika is supreme to all the gopis. The Gopi Prem is the highest of all, and even Uddhav, which went there, he thinks, I am so great, I have so much prema for Krishna, but he himself, he's saying, Asamaho charararusam aham sam brindavana kimapi gumala tosana jedustayam swajana aryapatam hiva bejur govinda padavim shrut mukunda padavim shrutivi dhrimigyam. He says, these gopis, they have left jedustayam, they have left all the relatives, the parents, their children, they have rejected all. Aryapatam, they have left dharma, they reject dharma established in the Vedic culture. They reject all this only to give pleasure to Krishna. So Uddhav says, may I become a little blade of grass, a little pebble, a bush, so that I can be touched by the feet and I can get the dust of the feet of the gopis. So here she is, her fame is through the whole corners of the universe being propagated. Why? Because Krishna says, I am indebted to you. I cannot repay you, Srimati Radhika. Therefore, Bhagavatam eternally will exist, and it's always culminating in the highest level of prema, which is Srimati Radhika. Her love is superior to all the rest of the gopis. Number 22, Guruvat Pitta Guru Sneha. She is the receptacle of the great affection of her elders. Like I said before, they all love her so much. Even Yashoda Nanda Baba and Kirtida Sundar Brishwanuman has so much love and affection for her. 23, Saki Pranayata Jita Basha. She is controlled by the love of her Sakis. She is controlled by the love of her Sakis. So here it's very interesting because the Sakis, like Lalita, she's completely controlled by Lalita. Lalita is the guru of Radhika. And he tells her, Durte Brajenda Tanaye Tanushustabamya Ma Dakshina Baba Kalankini Lagabaya Rate Hinam Shinuhitamita Shiksha Jantin Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. He says, Lalita is the guru of Radhika. He says, please listen to my instructions. Never exhibit this Dakshimbhav, the right hand submission to Krishna. Never. Always exhibit left hand. Banyabhav means contrary mood. No, go away, go away. You should always, oh Kalinkini, oh enchased girl, you foolish girl, you should always exhibit this Banyabhav in this way. Krishna will always be chasing you, after you. So this is Radhika, she is Lalita, she is the guru of Srimati Radhika. And she is controlled by Srimati Radhika. She is so powerful, Lalita Devi, that Krishna is afraid of her. You know, she's so angry, she's so, her mood is so much anger, that she actually, Krishna is afraid of her. So sometimes they would come to Gurudev, we need a kavacha for what? Nrsimha kavacha for what? For protection. He says, so you should wear Lalita kavacha. Because Lalita, even Krishna is afraid of her. Krishna is so afraid of Lalita Devi, you should wear this Lalita kavacha. So, then number 24, Krishna Priyavali Mukhya. She is supreme amongst all the lovers of Krishna. So Radhika, Mahababa Swarupini, Radhika Takurani, Radha Kanta Shiromani. She is the crest jewel from all the lovers. She is the crest jewel of all. Radhika. No one can control in fully submission, absolute, like Radhika can do. And the number 25 is Shantarash Rasya Keshava. She's always maintains Sri Krishna under her control. What more can I say, says Rupa Goswami? Just like Krishna, she is completely endowed with unlimited transcendental qualities. So she has always Krishna under control. So here in Radha Kripa Kotaksha says, Anangaranga Mangala Prasanga Bangura Brahmam Sabhivramansa Samarman Driganta Banapatra Nirantaram Vashikrita Pratiti Nandanandane Kadakari Jasyaman Kripa Kotaksha Bhajanam. That Srimati Radhika, just with one glance, like arrows, what happens? Then it makes Krishna completely fall at her feet in submission. When she leaves Ras Leela, Krishna is begging at her feet, and he starts serving her in Sevakunj. He combs her hair, and he makes a braid, and he puts flowers, and he decorates her with flowers, and paints her face, and also her feet, gives massage to her feet. He's completely subordinate, completely in submission to Shri Krishna. So when Krishna serves Radha, this is Radha Krishna. When Radha serves Krishna, this is Lakshmi Narayan. And in Sevakunj, or anywhere where Krishna is absolutely surrendered to Radhika's feet, in submission, serving her lotus feet, and completely surrendered to her. This is the Brajendra Nandana that we worship. This is the Brajendra Nandana Krishna that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas worship. When he's completely under the control and submission of Srimati Radhika. So this is the last 25th quality. Sri Rupa Goswami ki jai, Ujjvala Nilamani ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam, Gauda Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.